Hey folks, Engineer 775, real excited today. It's a beautiful day to share with you a new cool solar generator. And it's the name of it is the Sol-Ark generator. I was sent this unit. I'm going to show you this. It's a portable generator. There's so many portables on the market. There's a lot of solutions from Science and Humless and Goal Zero and Sunrunner and Solar Max, and there's a lot of cool things. But what's unique about this, there's a group of engineers in Texas that started from the ground up and designed a complete system that is portable, that is EMP hardened, not EMP resistant. This baby is EMP hardened. This is what I've been waiting for and looking for since I got introduced to electromagnetic pulse 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and looking for solutions for folks and families that just want to be able to protect their way of life, protect their families, and this baby is unbelievable. So I'm very thankful that they contacted me. They sent me a unit. I've actually installed it. We were able to install the complete system in about 5 hours. And what's neat about it, there's no permitting required. The homeowner can do this. A little bit of electrical skill required. You can get an electrician to help you, walk you through, but it's got so many positives, and I want to show it to you. So what I did here today, we set up some solar panels. These were my solar panels, just because of them shipping me so many things. They sent me one panel to show you. These are the panels and the cool mounting hardware. If you want to take a look at the back, this is what comes with the system, and it's adjustable for your latitude. It's fully adjustable, but the main setting on it is set for the angle of your latitude. And what's cool about this in terms of transportability, it folds up. You can stack the panels up, 12 of them on a pallet, so it helps it with shipping. They also can be anchored to the ground using spikes and or sandbags, and so it is truly a portable ground mount, individually mounted solar system. I've set this up just to because I'm running their unit now. So, okay, just another word about solar panels and their usage with the system and how to configure. It's important that you configure your system right. You want enough solar to get the job done, and you can go as low as 3 panels, and you can go up to 15 panels with the charge controller that comes with the Sol-Ark. So 3 to 15 is you're able to configure the system at, so you can get a lot of useful solar energy. You also can vary your battery bank size, and it's important that your battery bank size and your solar array size are compatible, meaning you don't want too big of a battery and that you can't saturate that battery and fully charge it with the solar, and you don't want too small of a battery, which you see a lot, where you're just not taking advantage of the ability to store energy. So they must be properly sized. And there's a lot of different ways to configure the 48-volt battery bank, and we can help you with that in configuring a system. Let me just say a word about the EMP protection or suppression. There are suppressors throughout the system put on at the solar panels. There are suppressors put on just before your appliances, and but the actual EMP would be dissipated in the Sol-Ark. The folks that designed this have an EMP nuclear engineer on staff they've done a lot of testing. And the cool thing, and this is a question of mystery that a lot of people don't know about, but the solar panels have been tested. These folks actually tested them at White Sands test facility, White Sands EMP test facility, and typical solar panels have passed EMP testing. But I just want to make sure you realize on the system that the actual EMP is dissipated in the Sol-Ark generator. Suppressors alone are not enough. They're definitely part of the design and a help to the system, but you just can't. So if you ask, well, just send me some of those suppressors for my panels, that will not do the job. The EMP has to go somewhere, and it's dissipated through the Sol-Ark system. And so anyway, just wanted to make sure you understood. And the folks they're kind of in the queue for an actual third-party nuclear EMP test facility. It's the same test facility that the Navy uses to test the EMP hardening, so they will be testing their equipment there as well. But their engineers stand by the tests that they have done, and I believe at the 50 kilovolt per meter mark. And so E1, E2, and E3 have been thought about in terms of whether it's a nuclear EMP or a solar event with E3, that the system, the Sol-Ark EMP hardened generator, can handle an EMP. It is EMP hardened. Okay, I was so excited about the timing of this because you can see I'm kind of a rough framing of my power room where I'm going to be putting up Outback radians, and I'm putting in a larger grid-tied hybrid battery backup system. And I'm just not to that point yet. I have all the equipment. So the cool thing was I needed to get my battery charging, and I put in one of the SBS tubular. This is way overkill for what I'm about to show you, but I had this battery. I needed a 48 volt, so this was a great way to just put my battery, and I'm using it. You can do 4 12 volt batteries with this system. You can do 8 6 volt batteries, and so there's a lot of different arrangements. So don't worry too much about the battery. As you can see, there are cords on this. This unit, this is the Sol-Ark. It's a 3,000 watt continuous 6,000 peak inverter. This is the inverter here. The charge controller is here. It's an MPPT charge controller. Everything's breakered, input breakers, output breakers. There's an LED display on here. So all I did is put 2 screws in the wall, mounted it, and you have these plugs. You have a 30 amp from the grid plug. That's an input breaker, so when the sun goes down, this baby switches over to grid to conserve and save your batteries, and it picks up off this 30 amp 120 volt circuit to make sure the batteries stay charged. Right now you can see got a little solar panel here. I'm at 53. We started at 50.1 about 30 minutes ago. We're not quite in full sun. We're just putting about 300 watts of power into the battery right now. So that's working great. The inverter, we've run some 1500 watt loads, no problem. The fan might come on here in a bit because it will do that. It'll cycle to give off some heat. We also added a transfer switch. You can get this with the system, and we're running some circuits. I'm running my wood boiler, my solar internet, some internet batteries I'm charging right now, and just a couple shop circuits, and they are wired right into a distribution panel, and so I can run them from the solar generator or switch them over to line, and they'll run off of the grid. So you can do this, or you can get a whole transfer switch, run the Sol-Ark to it. You just have to manage your loads. This keeps better control of the power load management working with the Sol-Ark. So, and that transfer switch plugs right in here. And so I'm sending inverter power through to these circuits right now and powering things. So on mine, I just hooked up my wood boiler. So with this right now, I could heat my house, heat all my water, run my internet, have lights and power, and not that the internet's important. Fan just kicked on, you're hearing it right now, and that's normal. It'll do that from time to time to cool off. But because everything is corded, it is a portable solar generator. This is their own charge controller, their own inverter. I'm real impressed with the quality, the look and feel of the unit. It's working fantastic. It took me 5 hours to install it. I didn't include the battery because I needed to do that for my larger system anyway. And it took me several hours to build a box and put this thing in here. 5 hours. It's basically, they have on their instructions. And their instructions are very good. I just followed the plan, and it says 5 to 6.5 hours time required to go through, identify what circuits you want to run, where you want to mount things, making sure all the cords reach between your batteries, transfer switch, and grid plug. Thankfully I had everything open here. I could just put things where I wanted. I'm going to take this all down, and I'm going to take it with me to a couple prepper conferences and show people not how it works. I'm not carrying all this gear. I'm just going to take this unit, but if you basically just unhook everything. There's a shutdown sequence, pull it off the wall, take it where you need it to go, plug it into the appropriate devices, batteries, transfer switch, and grid power. Another cool thing is this is the same plug as my little Honda 2000 generator, which has a 26.8 amp plug, 30 amp input. It's perfect. So you can set this up and run it off of use a generator for your line in. So there's some neat things. The automatic switching between the grid and solar makes this a unit that is, just leave it. It's not something you pull out on a rainy day. This system is in running these circuits. As long as the loads are appropriate for the system, and they are, I can leave this running. It's going to save me money because it's running. It qualifies for tax credits and all those goodies, but it's running. And if it gets in trouble, if the state of charge of the batteries drops below a certain percentage, on this is 90% actually, grid power will kick in and run those dedicated circuits. So there's not a problem there. So they've really done their homework. They're covering all the bases. I grilled them and quizzed them and asked them all the questions I could possibly, trying to find problems with this thing. But the Sol-Ark is pretty awesome, and the first truly EMP hardened generator that I've seen. So it's cool. I have no idea what else to tell you about it. There'll be links and things in the description. We're going to have these on offer these on our website, so there'll be a link there. And so if you need something that would really help families, this is great. They're working on other models. Right now they've focused on this one, and they're in production building them, so they are available. Solar panels are available, the complete kit. Let's go look at a few more little parts on it. Okay, just some other things that you can do with their EMP system. They give you a set of EMP suppressors that you put on your appliances, whether they're and you put them close to the pump, the motor, the refrigerator, the freezer, and you put them around the conductors that are feeding these appliances. The cords, you just wrap them around the cords. They send you complete interconnect cables for battery banks. I didn't need these because I had my own. And then the Y splitters that connect the solar arrays together have these EMP suppressors on there. They also supply 100-foot pre-built solar cables with MC4, so you can plug them right into your solar panels. And I think that's pretty much it. I didn't have to go buy anything to complete this job. I needed some wire to put in one 30 amp plug. They supplied me with a 30 amp plug, the cover and everything. So I didn't need to go to the hardware store or electrical supply house and buy anything to do this job. 5 hours, it's running my critical circuits. I have that peace of mind that it is EMP hardened. It's saving me money because the system is running and it automatically switches back to the grid to save my batteries, which the batteries are the heart of the system, huge investment, and this baby keeps them at a state of charge to keep them to extend their life as long as possible. Obviously you have to do regular battery maintenance and stuff like that, very impressed. I haven't really put a huge load on it yet, just ran about 1500 watts startup loads, and it works great, no issues. It is a pure sine wave inverter. I could go on and tell you a lot of things, but there'll be a lot of technical information in the description in this video and on the website. So excited to share this with you. I've tested a lot of these things. They all work, don't get me wrong. They all power loads. It's just how efficiently do they power the loads, and can they protect these loads if we have to deal with an EMP of any source, whether it's natural or man-made. All right, this is Engineer 775 signing out. Just an additional note, I'm programming the charge controller to match my batteries and also the type of battery. So if I hold the button down here, let me just go into programming mode. Hit it again, and I'm on 2F. So I've got that setting there. You follow the manual. Is for a flooded lead acid battery, and then whoops! If you wait too long, it'll time out. I'm going to go back in, and you put in the amp hour rating of the battery, and for mine it's 930 amp hours, so that's what I have in there. It defaults at 100, and so I just change that, and it'll come back to the percent. I'm 52.4 volts. It's saying 100% on there. When the percent of charge, state of charge, hits 90 or not less than 91, it will kick over to the grid. So what it's doing is basically it's saving you money. It's doing a great job of maximizing the use of solar plus saving your batteries using a combination of solar and grid and or generator input. So far so awesome, and let me know if you have any questions. Another great feature of the Sol-Ark, which is missing in a lot of even professional solar installations, is the ability to maximize the use of batteries, grid, and solar energy. And in the morning, when the sun, just as soon as the sun rises, there's enough voltage to tell the charge controller to switch from grid back to a battery, and that's what the system has done this morning. But there's not enough power to actually start really charging the battery. So more energy is coming out of the batteries, which is good. It's creating space, it's discharging the batteries, it's actually using the batteries. So many systems are installed where batteries are just in float mode for their life, but with the Sol-Ark, it's actually producing room to store energy. And you see the it's not that high on the horizon yet, in the sky yet, and so we're on battery mode. We're running about a 500 watt load, and I'll show you that. Okay, so if you can see on the inverter display that there's a B there, I don't know if you can see it. We're running about a 322 watt load. It's actually running my wood boiler, and that heats my water, heats my house. And so we're on battery, and it's very early in the morning, and so we're discharging, we're using the battery. And the battery was topped off last night by the grid, and we're slowly discharging. The voltage is at 51.1, so it'll continue to discharge. The solar LED's on, so there's enough light to switch it off grid to go back to battery and use battery throughout the day into the evening until there's not enough light, and then it'll switch back to grid and take over. That's all automatic, so not many, I haven't seen anybody really doing this I feel correctly or adequately to take advantage of your battery investment, and I really like this. So every day it creates room for storage of solar energy, uses the solar energy throughout the day to run your critical loads, and then switches back to the grid to save the battery. If the grid isn't present, the system just goes into completely off grid and uses battery, and or it will sense a generator if the power is clean enough and acceptable enough, which most generators are. I'm using the little Honda 2000 EU. So this is it's just a great, a very well thought out solar generator, the most well thought out solar generator on the market.